My name is Deanna. I'm the registered dietitian at GBUAHN, and I'm also the yoga instructor and the director of the wellness department. So during this time, it's really crucial to really make sure everybody is healthy and safe physically and mentally. And I think it's a good start to try something new, and that's why I am doing yoga live for everybody. I know it may be new for some people, and if you are a yogi, great. Then this is free and it's for you. But try going out of your comfort zone and try something new. And this is not only for physical benefits. Yoga is really main focus is cessations of the mind, to really just not control your thoughts, but just let them go. Acknowledge them and not let it control you, So really being in the here and the now, being in the present moment. So we're gonna get started. So find a nice comfortable place in your house or your apartment, wherever you are. I like being by the window. I got some plants nearby, some oxygen, if you will. So, and I just got my mat there. I'll be doing some of the poses so you guys can follow. I'll do my best to not be out of breath while educating you, but like I said, always focusing on your breath. Inhales, exhales through the nose, ujjayi breaths, slight constriction on the back of your throat, sounding like a wave, or as if you're fogging up a mirror with your mouth closed. So that serves to build heat in your body, and it will make your poses a lot more concentrated and easier on you. So take that into consideration. So we're gonna start on our backs in Supta Baddha Konasana. So if you have a pillow or a block, you could place it on your back the long ways or the short ways, whatever feels comfortable for you, just to open up the heart space a little bit more. If you don't have a block, that's okay. Just bring your arms out at your sides, or you could place one hand on your heart, one hand on your belly. Bring your feet together, your knees out wide, and you can play around where you settle your feet. So if your hips are tight and you want to go a little further out, go for it. Just find a place where you feel comfortable and you can slow down and tune in to the sound and the rhythm of your breath. Inhales through the nose, filling up your chest, sending oxygen all the way to your belly. And exhale through the nose, feeling the softening of the belly and the hollowing of the chest. Trying to connect the sound of your breath with each movement of your belly and your chest, with each inhale and with each exhale. Really connecting the mind and the body, bringing yourself to the present moment with you and your mat and nothing else to worry about. No to-do lists, no plans, no what I have to do after this or what happened before. But staying in the present moment and appreciating being here and finding stillness. If it's in your practice, go ahead and make a dedication or an intention for your practice. Whatever will help better serve you throughout the duration of your yoga journey. And always return to those values and those dedications whenever you feel your mind is about to drift off. And also always returning to your breath, to ground yourself and keep yourself here. Start to match your inhales with your exhales. Long and fluid, like the sound of a wave, flowing right next to each other. Reach your arms overhead for a full body stretch. Extend your feet out in front of you. And stretch all the way from your fingertips to the tips of your toes. And then exhale, hug your knees close to your chest. You can grab your elbows or your calves and rock side to side, massaging the spine, feeling the stretch in the hips as we warm up our spine and our hips and our overall body to help us move better throughout our days and reduce our pain. And then release our feet down and extend our legs out in front of us for banana pose. Send your heels off to the right of your mat and extend your arms overhead and reach your arms over to the right of the mat. So when you're in this curved C shape, you can stack your left ankle over your right ankle, flexing the feet. Take hold of your left wrist and stretch the left side of the body as you bring your eye gaze over your left armpit, or wherever your eye gaze tends to fall, whatever feels comfortable. And inhaling and feeling your intercostal muscles expanding with each inhale. And then with each exhale, softening deeper into your mat, feeling your muscles relax. Shoulders away from the ears. Inhale, lengthen your fingertips all the way out in front of you to the right side of the room. And exhale, soften into your mat, into your body. Walk your hands back to center and switch over to the other side. Bring your heels over to the left corner of your mat, stacking your right heel over your left ankle, sending your hands over to the left side of the mat. So you're in a curved shape with your feet and your hands over towards the left. Grabbing a hold of your right wrist and feeling the stretch on the right side of your body. Inhale, lengthen, get long. And exhale, feel your body fall deeper into the stretch. Walk your hands back to center and bring your feet into tabletop position, your legs, so that your knees and your ankles are in one line, and you tilt your pelvis a little bit up so that you have a flat spine and no space in your lower back. So your whole spine should be laid down onto the mat. Really squeeze your abdominal muscles by tilting the pelvis a little up and only using the hip flexors. And you can bring your arms out at your side or down in front of you, wherever you feel comfortable. We're going to activate our abdominal muscles by using our hip flexors and slowly tapping our right toe to the mat. And then reaching our right leg back up to meet the left and switching sides. Left toe taps. Bring it back. Tap the right toe. Send it up. And go at your own pace, really making sure that you're activating your abdominal muscles and only using your hip flexor. You should be staying in the same position and really feel your abdominal muscles firing. Mindfully and controlled. Take one more on either side. And hug your knees into your chest. Release your legs up to the ceiling and try and straighten the legs as best you can. If you have to bring a slight bend to your legs because you have tight hamstrings. That's okay. Just work to straighten the legs as time goes on. Flex the toes towards your face to feel more opening in your hamstrings, making sure that your spine is flat onto the mat. Bring your hands out to your side like a T, and slowly lower your legs down to the count of 5. So follow along with me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hold it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhale your legs all the way back up. Inhale on the way down for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold it here. You could go as low as you can. Exhale, bring your legs all the way back up. One more. Inhale for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold it here, squeezing your legs together, flexing the toes, abdominal muscles firing. And exhale, release your legs all the way back up to the top. Hug your knees into your chest, rock side to side. Very nice. Come into happy baby. Grab onto the outside or the insides of your feet. And press your feet into your hands and your hands into your feet, bringing your tailbone onto the mat. And really feeling the stretch in your quads, your hamstrings, wherever's tight today. I know my legs are sore, so I'm feeling it everywhere. You can straighten one leg and then straighten the other leg. Breathing into the sensations, really connecting the mind and the body with each breath. And interlace your fingers an inch below your right knee. Extend your left leg out in front of you and flex the toes. Hug the right knee towards the right armpit, avoiding the rib cage. Squeeze, using your arm muscle strength. Take one more deep inhale through the nose, filling up. And an exhale, send the right knee over your body towards the left side of the room, stacking the hips on top of each other. As you extend your right arm out to the right, palm facing up, eye gaze towards your fingertips. Feeling the supine twist in your back. With each inhale, lengthen from the crown in front of you. And with each exhale, deepening the stretch, deepening the twist. Inhale, the right leg comes back up. And switch legs. Interlace the fingers under the left knee. Extend the right leg out in front of you, flexing the toes to keep your leg grounded onto the mat. Hug your left knee close to your left armpit. And give yourself a nice tug and a squeeze. So you feel that pinch in the left hip flexor. Keep your shoulders away from your ears as you're pulling your leg towards your armpit, avoiding the rib cage. Take one deep inhale here, lengthen. Exhale, send the left knee over your body towards the right of the room, stacking the hips on top of each other, extending the left arm out to the left. Palm facing up, eye gaze towards your fingertips. Breathing into all sensations from your back to your hips. And with each exhale, softening and deepening the pose, relaxing into the mat. Inhale your left leg all the way back up. Bring your legs into tabletop. Grab behind your knees, the backs of the thighs. And lift your shoulders and head off the mat, just a little bit. And give yourself a little rounding spine here. And we're gonna rock and roll. Full length of our spine, avoiding the neck. Really squeezing the abdominal muscles, rounding the spine, pressing our hands into our legs, legs into our hands. And when we're done rocking and rolling, crossing out the ankles on the way up, placing our hands down on the mat, coming into tabletop, stacking shoulders over wrists, hips over knees, neutral pelvis, neutral spine, lengthen your neck. Fingers are spread out wide with slight grip in your fingertips, suction cupping the palm of the hand. And like I say, screw your hand into your mat as if you're screwing the top or the lid of a jar. So you're going to be wrapping your triceps back with that movement. Cow-cat. Inhale, open the chest up to the front of the room. Lower the belly, tailbone reaches up, shoulders away from the ears, eye gaze comes up. Exhale, push the mat away from you, round the spine, tighten the abdominal muscles, eye gaze at your navel. Inhale, cow, open the chest to the front of the room. Lower the belly, tailbone reaches up. Exhale, push the mat away from you, round the spine, chin comes to your chest, squeezing abdominal muscles. And go at your own pace here. One breath to one movement. Go as fast or as slow as you need. With each inhale, lowering the belly, reaching the tailbone up, eye gaze comes up for cow. And with each exhale, pushing the mat away from you, rounding the spine, keeping those fingers spread out wide for cat. Incorporate any organic movement here. Tune into your body, see what places are sticky that you need to work out for our practice. You can rock the hips down and back in child's pose. C curves by reaching your right shoulder to your right hip and vice versa. Working those obliques. You can let your head hang heavy, feeling the stretch in the back of the neck. And when you're ready, you're on your knees. You're going to send your hip points a little forward, and you're going to inhale so your shoulders come past the wrist creases. And on an exhale, lower all the way down onto your belly. So that was just a prep for our chaturanga. That's modified. Bring our hands spread out wide below our shoulders, right where your line is at your shoulder blade. On an inhale, you're going to reach your chest up to the front of the room, tighten the glutes, tighten the quads. Every aspect of your muscles are working here, from your back to your legs. And exhale, lower the forehead down to your mat. Fingers are spread out wide, thumb is in the middle of your chest. Inhale, baby cobra. Open your chest up to the front of the room. Little or no weight to your hands. So you can even try and lift the hands to see all the work done by your back. Exhale, forehead to your mat. Last baby cobra, keeping those legs strong. Inhale, lift the chest up. High gaze comes up. And exhale, slowly lower the head to the mat. Put windshield wiper the legs. And then press up and back into child's pose. Spreading your knees out wide, coming onto the tips of your heels, reaching your hands out in front of you, spreading your fingers wide for more of an active child's pose stretch. Stretching from your fingertips all the way down your back, all the way down your spine, keeping your glutes glued to your heels and letting your belly nestle in between your thighs. You can rock the hips side to side. Inhale, come back up to tabletop. Tuck the toes behind you. Press the mat away from you first. So, like I said, really wrap the triceps back, fingers spread out wide, slight grip in the fingertips, and puff up the space in between the shoulder blades, as if you're in cat. So you're going to tuck the toes, lift the knees up just slightly off the mat, really reaching the tailbone down as you're squeezing your abdominal muscles as if you're in cat, but you're lifted. Take one more breath here. Exhale, lift the hips up and back for downward facing dog. You should be in an inverted V shape. Fingers spread out wide. Heels aim to be glued to the mat. You can bend your knees and let your belly come onto your thighs if you need more of a lower back release. And then you can work to straighten the legs as time goes by. Really wrap those triceps back and keep your shoulders away from your ears. Belly is hollow, up and in. And on an inhale, come onto your tips of your toes and shift your weight into plank, stacking your shoulders over your wrists and your ankles over your toes. Should be in one line, and like I said, really puff up the space in between the shoulder blades by pressing into your mat, squeezing your abdominal muscles, and engaging your leg muscles towards the midline. Exhale, lift the hips up and back for downward facing dog. If you have to modify this on your knees, go for it. The best way to see if you're in proper alignment is on each inhale, shifting to plank, holding here for a little bit, and exhale, push the mat away from you. You shouldn't have to move your hands or your feet. This is how you know you're in perfect alignment. So go ahead and challenge yourself. Inhale, come into plank. If you have to go on your knees, that's fine too. And then exhale, the hips up and back for downward facing dog. You know, so you could work up to the plank if that's not serving you today. Or you can always skip the flows and meet us in downward facing dog. Take one more round. That when you're shifting into plank, you're rolling like a wave because you're really pressing into the mat and puffing up those shoulder blades. And on an inhale, lift the right leg up to the sky. Keep your hips leveled. Try not to splay outwards. You really want to keep the hips closed for tail of the dog, as if you're planting your heel onto the back wall. Keep your shoulders parallel to the mat. And on an exhale, place your foot in between your hands by coming into plank, hugging your knee into your chest, and placing your right foot down, lowering the left knee for low lunge. Rock back and forth. Sending the left hip point forward, and then extending the right leg for some hamstring stretching. And when you're ready, come into a low lunge. Stacking the right knee over right ankle. Inhale your torso up and out of your waist. Reach your biceps towards your ears and bring your pinkies in towards each other to really activate the inner arm muscles. Belly is up and in. And on an exhale, plant your hands down to frame the right foot. Tuck the left toes, step into plank, and exhale, downward facing dog. If you want to step into downward facing dog instead of plank, you could do that too and just wait for us. Inhale, lift the left leg up to the sky, flex the toes towards the shin. And on your exhale, hug the left knee into your chest. Hold here for the inhale. Exhale, plant the foot in between your hands for low lunge. Right knee comes to the mat. Rock back and forth. Sending the right hip flexor forward and extending the left leg in half split. So working off the left side. And when you're ready, low lunge, stacking the left knee over left ankle, shoulders over your hips. Inhale your arms at your ears. Pinkies come in, belly up and in. Take one inhale. And on your exhale, plant your hands down, tuck the right toes, step into plank, and exhale, downward facing dog. Like I said, if you want to just step into downward facing dog, that's okay too. Or even modify your plank by coming to your knees. Whatever feels good for your body today. Listen to your body always. Nothing should be painful. Of course, you're going to have some slight tension, but that's what you want to work out today. Inhale, lift your heels up to the sky and take baby steps all the way to your hands and bring the weight into your fingertips as you tighten your abs. Separate your feet hip-width distance apart or as wide as your mat for ragdoll. Bend your knees deeply, grab onto either elbows. And you could bring in movement, rocking side to side, or find stillness, whatever's in your practice today. Really bringing more weight in your toes to feel the hamstrings open. The more you bend your knees and let your belly come onto your thighs, is a good compression pose to release the head and neck fully. Heel toe your feet in together to touch. Inhale, halfway lift, hands to shins, straight spine, lengthen your neck. Exhale, forward fold. Hands come to your mat, knees to nose, or nose to knees. Inhale your arms overhead, biceps to ears, root to rise, tailbone reaches down. Glutes are firing, legs are firing, belly up and in. Hands come together at heart space. So let's go through some sun A's together. We're in Tadasana to start. Bear weight in all four corners of your feet. Lift up your toes and then slowly lower them down to find your center. Roll your shoulders up and back away from your ears, palms facing towards the front of the room. Belly up and in, chest is slightly out, shoulders back. You don't want to splay out too much. You want to really knit the ribs in, belly up and in. Lengthen from the crown to the ceiling. You should be on fire right now. Ujjayi breaths. Inhale, arms come up overhead, hands come to touch. Bring it to heart center, forward fold. Straight spine on all the way down. Releasing the hands, head and neck. Inhale, hands to shins, halfway lift. Exhale, plant the hands down, step into plank. And exhale, lift the hips up and back for downward facing dog. So we skipped the flow here, and we'll do that on the second round. But this is just to show you that when we go ahead and do our flow, that you can just come to this sequence, if you will. So come into plank and then exhale, lift the hips up and back, downward facing dog. So let's do this again, but adding the flow in for everybody. Inhale, lift the heels up, bend the knees. Exhale, step or hop to the front of the mat. Inhale, hands to shins, halfway lift, straight spine. Exhale, forward fold, nose to knee. Inhale, root to rise, arms come up all the way overhead, palms touch. Exhale, hinge at the hips. Forward fold, straight spine all the way down. Release the hands to the mat. Inhale, halfway lift, hands to shins. Exhale, plant your hands down. Step into plank. You can bring your knees down to try our chaturanga or stay lifted. I'm going to stay lifted, shoulders over wrists. Inhale, come onto the tips of your toes, shoulders over the wrist creases. Exhale, hug the elbows close to the body, come down halfway, chaturanga. Untuck the toes, lift the chest up and back for upward facing dog. You could lower the hips and come into cobra. Hands are coming out a little bit more. But everything is still active, from back to your front body to your back body. Tuck the toes, Exhale the hips up and back for downward facing dog. So that's our sun A. We're gonna go over it one more time. Inhale, lift the heels, bend the knees. Exhale, step or hop to the front of the mat. Inhale, hands to shins, halfway lift, straight spine. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, root to rise, arms come up all the way overhead, palms touch. Exhale, forward fold, hands come to heart center, hinge at the hips, flat spine on the way down. Inhale, halfway lift, hands to shins. Exhale, plant the hands down, step into plank. Inhale, shift your weight forward, shoulders come past the wrist creases, come onto the tips of your toes. Exhale, lower down, halfway, chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog or cobra. Exhale, lift the hips up and back for downward facing dog. Very nice. So we're going to go into sun B's today, which we learned last week. Inhale, lift your heels, bend the knees. Exhale, step or hop to the front of your mat. Inhale, hands to shins, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, root to rise, arms come up and out of the waist, hands come together. And sit your hips down and back for chair pose. Release your hands, biceps to ears. Sit your weight into your heels, reach your tailbone down, open your chest to the front of the room, pinkies face in. As you sit lower, open your chest up to the front of the room, really squeeze the abdominal muscles and reach the tailbone down. Bring your hands together, exhale, forward fold, straight spine on the way down. You can have a slight bend in your knee. Inhale, hands to shin, halfway lift. Exhale, plant your hands down, step into plank. Move through your flow or meet us in downward facing dog. Inhale, shift your weight forward. Exhale, lower down halfway, chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog or cobra. And on your exhale, lift the hips up and back for downward facing dog. Really connect your breath to your movement, going at your own pace. Inhale, lift the right leg up. Flex the toes towards the face, squeezing the abdominal muscles. Exhale, step the right foot in between your hands. Once we step our right foot in between your hands, plant the left heel down. Keep your right knee bent over your right ankle. Straighten the left leg for warrior one. Angle your left toes at the top left corner of your mat. Your right toes should be facing straight ahead. Once you are grounded, bring your hands at your hips and inhale your torso all the way up. Arms reach out of the waist, biceps to ears, pinkies can face in towards each other. Warrior one. Make sure you're in a proper stance. Your hips should be squared to the room. So you may have to step your foot out a little bit more, and it's a smaller stance than if you do warrior two or crescent lunge. So you want to make sure that your hips and your tummy is really straight ahead. Hips in one line. So making sure your left toes are at the top left corner of your mat and your right toes are straight ahead. Energetically draw the heels together. This shouldn't be easy for you. You should be energetically squeezing your legs together so that you feel your quads firing. And then on an exhale, plant your hands down to frame the right foot. Step into plank, move through your flow, or meet us in downward facing dog. Inhale, shift your weight forward. Exhale, lower down halfway. Inhale, upward facing dog or cobra. And exhale, lift the hips up and back, downward facing dog. Inhale, lift the left leg up, square the hips. Flex the toes towards the face, closed hips. And on an exhale, send your knee to your nose. And on an exhale, plant your foot in between your hands for warrior one. Plant the right heel down, straighten the right leg. Keep the left knee bent over the left ankle. Root first, and then rise. Biceps to your ears. Square your hips to the front of the room by drawing the left hip back, the right hip forward. Right toes are at the top right corner of the mat. Keep that left knee bent and your right heel planted to feel the stretch in your calf. Take one inhale here. And exhale, plant your hands down to frame the left foot. Step into plank and move through your flow, meeting in downward facing dog. So I'm gonna go ahead and lift my hips up and back for downward facing dog and let you guys do your thing. And when we're all in downward facing dog, cleansing breath together, take a deep inhale through the nose, the biggest inhale of the day, filling up your chest, filling up your belly. Hold at the top. Part the mouth, wide mouth, open it up and let it out. Sigh it out. Sometimes you just need an encouraging breath, huh? It's probably the most encouraging breath ever. All right, return to normal breaths in and out through your nose. Inhale, lift the heels, bend the knees, eye gaze comes between your hands. Exhale, step or hop to the front of your mat. Inhale, hands to shins, halfway lift, straight spine, lengthen your neck, shoulders away from the ears. Exhale, forward fold, hinge at the hips, nose to your knees, slight bend in your knees. Inhale, root to rise. Palms come together and meet at heart center. So, our next pose that we are going to learn today is tree pose. So come to the top of your mat and feet come together and try and bear weight into your right foot and lift the left leg up slightly and just find your balance with that right foot. Like I said, Tadasana is the mother of all poses. So once you ground all four corners of your feet, you reach your tailbone down, you're squeezing your belly up and in, you're lengthening from the crown up. It's much easier for you to find the balance. So go ahead, and when you think you're ready, you could bring the bottom of your left foot to your calf, or if you want to take hold of your left foot and place it on your inner right thigh, you can go ahead and do so. Really avoiding the knee, so do not put your foot on your knee, either lower or higher. So I'm going to do it on my mat for you to see. Really reach that tailbone down. The hips should be in one line, so you shouldn't be hiking up the hip. Bring your hands to heart center and find your center. Focus on one point and breathe. Meditate. When you feel stable, if you're ready, you can grow your tree by bringing your arms out towards your sides. You could even play around with your balance if you're that advanced and make a flowing tree. And then place your left leg down. You can shake the right foot out a little bit. And then we're going to switch feet. So we're incorporating some standing balances. That's our treat today. Reach our tailbone down, squeezing our legs together, belly up and in. Bearing weight towards the left now. Go ahead and move your right foot around, one-legged Tadasana. Bring your hands to heart center. And then go ahead and place it on your calf. Or if you're advanced or you want to give it a try, when you feel more stable, put it up on your inner thigh, making sure your hips are in one line. That standing leg is strong, belly up and in, lengthen from the crown to the ceiling. Tighten your glutes. You could grow out your tree or stay in heart center. If you played around, go ahead and play around with your weight. Really squeeze those abdominal muscles. Then release your leg down. Take an inhale here. Exhale, hinge at the hips, forward folds, flat spine on the way down. Separate your feet hip width distance apart or wider for another forward fold. You can come into ragdoll.
Grab either sides of your wrists. Bearing more weight in your toes. Or you can release your hands, just let everything go. Whatever feels comfortable for you. If you want to sway, straighten one leg, and then straighten the other. And take a few more breaths. I love my watch. It's great. Can't tell time. All right, so release your arms. If you're in ragdoll, holding onto either elbows, just release your hands. Bring your feet together. Inhale, halfway lift. Straighten your spine, lengthen your neck. Exhale, plant your hands down. Step into plank. Move through your flow, or meet us in downward facing dog. Inhale, shift your weight forward. Exhale, chaturanga, come down halfway. Untuck the toes, open the chest to the front of the room. Upward facing dog or cobra. Exhale, tuck the toes, lift the hips up and back for downward facing dog. Pedal it out, walk it out. Rock your hips side to side. And on an inhale, lift your right leg up. Bend your right knee towards your glutes. Open your hips up to the right of the room. Keep traditional downward facing dog arms in front of you so that you're not splaying to the right side. You want to keep your upper body square to the front of the room. And go ahead and make some hip circles, mindfully and controlled as you're tightening your belly. Go ahead and do in one direction and then the other direction. Extend the right leg out in front of you, flex the toes, square the hips, and then place your right foot down. Inhale, lift the left heel up, bend the knee, and go ahead, do hip circles on the left side. Small or big movements, whatever you want. It's a ball and socket joint, so it has wide range of motion here. So if you go in one direction, go in the other direction. And then extend your left leg out in front of you, square the hips, flex the toes, and then place your left foot by your right foot. And walk the dog. And then come onto your knees. And I'll face towards you. Okay. So inhale your arms up overhead. If you want to come onto your sit bones, you could do that, or come and sit onto your heels with your legs together. And on an exhale, lateral flexion, bringing your left hand up and over. You could come and give a slight bend of your right elbow to feel more stretch, or you could come onto your forearm, but you really want to breathe length into your right and left sides, breathing up and out of your waist. Inhale, back to center. Exhale, left hand comes down, reach the right arm up and over. Eye gaze comes up. And then reach both arms back to center. Let's go over to the right one more time. Left arm up and over. Breathe. Inhale, both arms up. Exhale, reach the right arm up and over to the left. Feeling the stretch on the right side body, sending your right shoulder to the back wall, opening up your chest. And then releasing both hands down at your side. Extend your legs out in front of you. And slowly lower down vertebrae by vertebrae. Lower back, mid back, upper back, and then full body stretch, reaching your fingers and toes in opposite directions. Exhale, hug your knees into your chest. Give yourself a little squeeze. Release your feet at your sides. Our inversion today is going to be legs up against the imaginary wall. It's a very restorative pose. Extend your legs up to the ceiling, flex the toes towards your face. If you have a pillow or a block, you want to put it on to your lower back for more a restorative pose. You can do so to release any tension. If not, you could just keep your legs straight. Flexing the toes towards the face. If this inversion isn't for you, you could go ahead and do bridge, which you bring your fingertips brushing the backs of your heels, reaching your hips towards the ceiling, press into the palms, press into your heels, the middle of your head, a little space between your chin and your chest, squeezing your glutes. So you have two options today, legs against the imaginary wall or bridge, which is a good way to bring your hips higher than your heart. And then lower down. So take your time, take around 5 more breaths here. Slowing down the breath, breathing into every sensation that you're feeling, any tension, sending air to those spaces, filling it with freshly oxygenated blood. And release your legs down. Good windshield wiper the legs back and forth, rocking your knees left and right. And then come into any last pose that you feel you need to complete your practice. I like coming into happy baby because my hip flexors and my hamstrings are really sore today. So that's my choice, even though we did it earlier today. Pressing my feet into my hands and my hands into my feet. Just for a couple more breaths before we release and surrender into our Savasana. Release our feet from our hands, extend our legs out in front of us. You can take as much or as little space as you want. Arms can come out wide, palms facing up for receiving or palms facing down for more grounding. Start to connect to your breath, lengthening each inhale and matching it with each exhale. Softening your facial expressions, softening your facial muscles. Releasing the wrinkles in your forehead, softening the space between your eyebrows. Releasing tension in the mouth and the jaw by slightly parting the mouth and letting the tongue float in the hollow of your mouth. And starting to settle in, reflecting on our intentions and dedications. And breathing nothing but light, love, and joy to your body and your mind. Savasana. Take this moment of silence for yourself before I lead you to the end.
Start to bring movement back into the body. Wiggle your toes, wiggle your fingers. Rocking your head side to side. Reaching your arms overhead for a full body stretch. And on an exhale, hug your knees close to your chest. Come into a tight little ball, grabbing onto either elbows. And when you're ready, rocking on to one side, letting your curves hit the earth, giving yourself a nice tight hug. Embracing yourself for your lovely practice today. And then come up to a seated position, coming onto your glutes or coming onto the tops of your heels. Placing your hands together at heart center in prayer. Close your eyes and bow. Thank you for letting me guide you through your yoga journey today. Take this time to surround your intentions and dedications with light and love. Thank you for giving me your time and attention and your hard work. You should be proud of yourself that you were able to enlighten your mind and your body with nothing but positivity today. There's much light, love, and beauty within me, and I do see and honor that very same light, love, and beauty within each one of you. Namaste. Thank you for joining me, everybody, and I hope that you had a wonderful session.